Hey everybody, welcome to Mike Oski's Kitchen. I'm Michael Shefsky and I am the chef of this kitchen. If you're tuning in, I'm assuming you're the chef of your kitchen. Hey, appreciate you watching all those videos that we've made so far, and I hope you've had some fun with it. I hope you've become a superstar in your house. I hope you become a superstar with your friends and becoming a chef of your own kitchen, venturing out and have a good time. Stuff's easy, right? It's not hard. Cooking is pretty fun. You can make it fun. You can have a drink. You can laugh. You can joke. Look, cooking is a great thing to do. Listen, tonight I'm making one of my own personal favorites, and it's something that's very original to me. This is my own recipe and my own concoction. A lot of people ask for it. A lot of people asked for the recipe many times, and tonight I'm going to show you how to make it, and I'm going to give you the recipe. But if you're watching this on Facebook or another social media, you're going to have to go to my YouTube channel, Mike Oski's Kitchen, and in the description, the actual recipe will be there. There'll be a link to it, so you can click it and print it out and all that kind of good stuff, okay? So I am making my most famous Mike Oski's chili. Everybody loves it. Nothing too hard about it. And I'm gonna tell you what, you'll make this and you'll make it again and you'll make it again and you'll make it again because it's that good. So let me just go through right now, just briefly, what ingredients we're gonna use. There's some spices, there's some vegetables, there's some meats, but it's gonna be simple. So real simple, let's just go through this. Black pepper. I would suggest just write it down and then you can add the amounts as we cook, okay? But this is just gonna be all the ingredients. Salt. I'm gonna use some accent. I'll tell you what that's for. Also some cumin. Chili powder. You gotta have chili powder in a chili, right? Of course. And then of course cayenne. You gotta fire it up a little bit. Brown sugar. I'll show you where and when we'll use the brown sugar. It really makes the chili pop. And of course some onion powder. Those are pretty much all your spices. When we get over to hot spot, I'll show you where to use them and how to use them and how much of them to use. But again, that link will be there if you want to print it out. As far as the other chili, what I call regularities, you're going to use tomato sauce. I use 3 cans, 3 14 and a half ounce cans, and I use 2 cans of red kidney beans, okay? I also use a can of diced tomatoes. And I'll show you what to do with these things. There's a process. Of course, tomato paste, and then a small 4-ounce can of chopped or diced chilies. That's it on those. Now on my cutting plate and on my work plate, I'm gonna use 3 kinds of peppers. You have to use 3 kinds of peppers because it makes the chili that much more, have a lot more body. But I like to use red, orange, and yellow. You can use green, you can use all green, you can use all red. If you wanna make it look pretty, I have some different colors, that's why I like to do it. Doesn't matter, but 3 peppers, okay? 3 sweet peppers. And of course an onion, has to go in everything. And then I use garlic. My recipe calls for 2 cloves of garlic. There's a little bit more than 2 cloves in there, but who cares? I love garlic. Now, the meat. 2 pounds of ground beef. You can get the 80-10, you can get the 80-20 or the 90-10, whatever you like in your household. 2 pounds of ground beef, 2 pounds. And then here's the trick. I like to buy the sweet Italian sausage. Now, a real quick tip about this. This comes with the casing on it. So don't freak out. It's pretty simple. All you have to do is kind of grab this thing in the middle, squeeze it, and then just kind of slide it out. Then flip it over, grab the other side, squeeze it, and then let it slide out. And you're left with the casing, that's all. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna finish off decasing these sweet Italian sausages. I'm gonna chop up my peppers and my onion, and then we're gonna go over to the stove, and we got a couple steps over there. But once this thing comes together, you're gonna say, whew, that was a simple chili recipe, and you're gonna love the way it tastes. I promise you, you will love it. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and chop some stuff up, and we'll get back over to the stove, and I'll see you over there. Okay, we're back. Hey, we got everything cut up. I want to show you really quick what we cut up. We cut up our 1 onion, we cut up a yellow pepper, we cut up an orange pepper, we cut up a red pepper. We still have our garlic ready to go. What we're gonna do, and I'm gonna show you a little extra thing we're gonna do. We're gonna transfer all of this into this pan. It's a small pan, but you can use a bigger one if you'd like. Whichever's comfortable for you. I like to keep everything really tight together. We're gonna take everything, put it into this pan. We're gonna saute it, get it soft, not too soft or mushy, but just get it soft. So let's go ahead and do that really quick. I had to get my garlic in first. The pan's already warm. And then we're gonna go ahead and transfer the rest of the stuff in there. Red pepper, And there is no order. Green or orange pepper, flip this around, drop the onion in there now, and then the yellow pepper. Okay, that's that. We're going to go ahead and get this taken care of. Whoop, a couple onions popped out when we put it back in there. So what I'm going to do is just kind of blend all this together, the garlic, the peppers, and the onion. It's a wonderful thing when you can make something and make unity. There's 4 or 5 different ingredients together, coming together in there to make one awesome taste. Do that. Just let it simmer just a little bit. And then at this point, I just want to add this chili. It's diced chili peppers, nothing major. Just diced chili peppers, 4 ounces, drop it in there. And let's go ahead and fold that together. Just check them all together. I put a little oil in the pan just to get it going. You don't have to, but I think it helps. But we want to simmer this and saute it till the vegetables and everything gets a little softer. They'll cook more when they're in with the meat and the chili mixture. But for right now, we just want to kind of get them cooking and just mixed up, and we'll just let it sit for another. Now, when I come back, you see the meat right here? That is your 2 pounds of ground beef and your 2 pounds of Italian turkey sausage. We're going to come back. I'll show you how we're going to take care of that. Okay, so as we continue to let all of our veggies saute and soften up, I want to show you what we're going to do with the meat. Remember, the meat has 2 pounds of ground beef and 2 pounds of Italian turkey sausage. You can use beef sausage, I don't care what you use, but it's got to be Italian because that gives a nice sweet flavor to the chili. And you're going to need it because we're going to add some spices on it. You're going to have something to offset some of that heat. So what we're going to do, as this is cooking, I'm going to let this kind of simmer by itself. And with this, you can use a spoon, you can use a spatula, but I just kind of mix it up. I'm mixing up both the Italian sausage and the ground beef, and we want to get that thing nice and brown. But as it's cooking, I believe when you cook chili or anything dealing with a meat base, that the seasoning of the meat makes the dish. So I like to make sure that meat is very well seasoned and tasting good, because once that seasoning soaks into the meat, man, it just permeates throughout the whole entire recipe. It's fantastic. Don't put your recipes in afterwards. Cook it into the meat because it stays into the meat and of course stays into the recipe. So I'm going to show you how much of the spices we're going to put in. Let's go back to the meat here. So real quick, we're going to go ahead and put in some spices. So the first spice we want to use is the chili powder. It's chili, right? So we're going to use chili powder. We want to put in 2 tablespoons. There's 1. I like to heap it up. And then there will be number 2. Perfect. Next, we want to go on and move on to the cayenne. Cayenne's a little bit more spicy, so we're not going to use as much of cayenne, but we use 2 teaspoons. We don't want it too spicy. 1 and 2. Perfect. Now, next we want to add is the cumin. Cumin is fantastic. So we want to go ahead and put 2 teaspoons of cumin. A lot of 2s in the spices. So there's 1 and 2. Fantastic. Next we move on to the accent. The accent's really good for the meat. It really helps the meat out. So we want to put 2 teaspoons of accent. There's 1. Open this up a little bit better so it comes out quicker. There we go. And there is 2. Perfect. A little bit, add a little bit more. Why not? And then finally, we're going to put the onion powder in. Or I should say onion salt, but onion powder is the same thing. 1 teaspoon. Boom. Done. And then black pepper and salt. You can add as much as you want into this. This is really a by taste. Doesn't have to be truly fully measured, and I don't even use a measuring scoop. I just kind of put in what I think would taste good, and then I'm going to add the salt. Just cover up, and then that is it. And we'll just mix this all together and continue to brown the meat. Okay, so we got our meat cooking really, really, really well. It's nice and brown. I'll take a look at it really quick. All I like to do is just take a little bit and try it out. See how spicy it is. That's really good. All those spices that we just put in, it's cooked well into the meat, and the meat's going to really make this recipe. Just keep mixing it through a little bit. Next step, now that it's nice and brown, we want to take our vegetables that we've sauteed. They're nice and soft. We just want to add it to the meat. All one big movement here. Nothing major. At this point here, I'm going to take it and we're going to fold everything together. We want the vegetables and the meat to come together as one. See how it's working? Now, the meat and the vegetables are producing a lot of hydration. There's a lot of water in there, a lot of juices. What we're going to do is we're going to strain this just gently. We're not going to go heavy duty straining it. We're going to get some of that excess water out of there. Whoops, I flipped that a little bit. So for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and sit still on this and let it simmer for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then head over to the sink. We'll strain this, and I will see you over there. Okay, so our meat's done. We got it nice and brown. As you can see, all our vegetables are in it. I'll tell you what, folks, it absolutely smells amazing. This is what's really a big part of the chili, is the taste of the beef, the seasoning of the beef with the peppers and the onion and the garlic and everything mixed together. This really makes the base of your chili. That's kind of my secret. I believe in, and like I said before, season the meat and let that seasoning soak in because it stays there. So what I'm going to do now, there's a lot of water, a lot of different types of juice that can come out from the meat and from the vegetable. So I'm going to go ahead and just strain it really quick. Nothing major. Let's go ahead and strain this. Okay. That's about what I want to do. Just let it strain out. Just let it strain out so you don't, you don't want to lose a lot of the juice, but just want to get some of that heavy stuff out of there. So at this point right now, I like to make mine in a crock pot. You don't have to do that. You can keep yours in the pot after you strain it, return it to the pot, and then we'll put the same ingredients in, let it cook for a few hours. I like a crock pot. You put the thing in there and I'll tell you how long we're going to do it, but it's really good in a crock pot. It doesn't matter. It's what you prefer. It's your kitchen. You do what you want to do. But for me, I like making mine in a crock pot. So I go ahead and strain the beef. It's all dripped out pretty much. Let's see, a little bit more. So at this point here, I'm going to go ahead and take it, and I'm going to drop it right into the crock pot. Okay? Very simple. Just spread it around a little bit. Level it out, because there's another step we're going to have to go through here. So there it is. That's the magic of your chili. You can see what that looks like. It's beautiful. Now, a couple things we want to do too. Of course, chili takes tomato sauce. We're going to put 3 cans of tomato sauce in. 1, 2, and 3. I don't know why I do this. I don't know why, I just do it. It's one of those little ticks that we have, you know what I mean? We all have something special, don't we? Now, we have kidney beans to go in there now. Again, a lot of moisture, a lot of juices and things like that. We don't want to so much have all that into there because as this cooks in a crock pot or in your pot on a stove, it will create more juices. We just want to kind of minimize that because we want a nice thick type of chili. So let's go ahead and do this. We have kidney beans. I'm going to go ahead and small little strainer, just strain them out. You don't have to rinse them, just strain them out, drop them in there. Same thing, we're gonna use 2 cans of the chili, or the kidney beans. Strain that one out. Just mix it around a little bit, shake it around, drop that in there. Diced tomatoes. Again, a lot of juices in here. We're going to create more, so let's go ahead and get rid of the excess. We don't want a big soup. We want a chili, don't we? So we're going to strain that as well. Not much. Just get some of that heavier types of juices out of there, and it'll cook just fine. And we're going to return that directly into the crock pot. Now, if you see what we see here, looks pretty boring, right? Let's mix it. Remember that little technique I've always liked to teach people? pull down to the bottom, flip up and turn around. I just kind of go around the sides here, mix the tomato juice, or I'm sorry, tomato sauce, the beef, kidney beans, the tomatoes. We will add some more sauce as we go along here, but this is what we're going to start cooking with. Keep spinning it. Okay, so there is the base of our chili. If you can see it, it already looks fantastic. Already looks fantastic. As we cook it, we're gonna add a little bit more tomato sauce to bring that sauce level up. Not gonna be a lot because you're not gonna believe how much juices and things like that are gonna be produced by reheating up. And then we have some other ingredients when we add in near the end of it. So what I like to do is put it in a crock pot. And then we want to cook in the crock pot about low to medium for about 3 hours. That's all you gotta do. Pop this thing on. And what I like to say is every half hour, 45 minutes, set that for an hour, 3 hours. And go low, 3 hours. There we are. And we're going. Again, every 45 minutes or so, you just want to turn it, flip it, make sure all those spices, all those flavors are mixing in together, becoming one flavor. And then in a little bit, right before we end, about a half hour or so before we end, there's a couple more ingredients we're gonna add that will just top this thing off and make it the best. And then once it's done, I'm gonna show you gotta stick around for this, but I'm gonna show you some variations of how to eat this chili from plain to the extraordinary. See you in about 3 hours. Okay, so we've had this thing cooking in here for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours at this point, medium high. We're gonna go ahead and add one last step before we actually start to eat this thing. If you can tell, I'm gonna mix it up. I did mix it every 25, 30, 35 minutes. That's about all I did. Just that much, just enough to keep everything moving around in the dish, transferring all those different types of spices and everything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a small can of tomato sauce at this point. And this is an 8 ounce. We're just gonna go ahead and put that in there. And then we're gonna add the binder, which I call the great binder tomato paste. And it's about, it's a small can, about 6 ounces. And I'm just gonna go ahead and drop all this in there. And what we're gonna do is mix all this up with one more ingredient, hang in there. And then we're gonna let it sit for another half hour. And then we're ready to eat. And then you're gonna be able to say, this is one of the best chilies I've ever had. So let's go ahead and mix this part up. Tomato paste and the tomato sauce. Because what we're gonna do is thicken it up just a little bit. Well, again, we don't want a soup. We want something that has a little bit of body to it. And for the next half hour, it'll loosen up a little bit, it's fine. So there you go, okay? Now, here's another quick secret. It's pretty spicy the way it is. So the old saying, sweet and heat, I use brown sugar. And in this recipe, I use about 2 tablespoons right at the end. There's 1, there's 2. There's 2 heaping, you know what? Yeah, put another little bit more in. You know what, put another little bit more in. Can't hurt it, it's gonna be fine. Now we're gonna mix that brown sugar in with that too. So now we're gonna get all the different types of spices and all different types of heats. And it's gonna be leveled off with the brown sugar. So, here we are. Pop, pop. 1/2 hour in here, 30 minutes. And then we'll plate it. I'm gonna show you some variations how to eat it. I'm gonna show you how I like to eat it. I think you're gonna like it. Until then, bye-bye chili. See you in a half hour. So it's been about a half hour since we added our tomato paste, or the additional tomato sauce, and our secret brown sugar. It looks really good. It's come together fantastically. So if you can take a look at that, that's a really fine looking chili. Nice and thick. And it's not like a soup, it's really good. Here's some ways to eat chili, okay? I know, like, oh, you're gonna tell me how to eat chili? What, I mean, come on, I've been born yesterday. but there's ways to do it. A lot of people in this chili, remember, you're the cook of your kitchen. I'm just gonna go ahead and fill this bowl up a little bit. You're the cook of your kitchen. I suggest if you're cooking for your family or friends, leave it the way it is. Because there's some spice to it. A lot of people don't like heat. It may overwhelm them if you add too much, but there's plenty of ways to kick it up if you want to personally, or if people want to. So that's the chili without anything on it. That's just plain old, right out of the crock pot or right out of the pot chili. It's fantastic, believe me. Here's what's a great thing to do with it, okay? This is my special, this is my favorite. I like to take a little bit of sour cream and drop it in there. See that? But I just don't want it to sit on there. I'm just trying to mix it up. Okay? It's about a tablespoon or so. Have to measure it out. Fantastic. So there's your sour cream. Now, I can drop a little bit of cheese in there and mix that up. Now, while the chili's hot, that cheese will melt in there. Put it down here on a plate so I don't drop it. I've been known to drop things plenty of times. A little bit more cheese. So you can see your chili transformed into something really cool looking with cream cheese and sour cream. Not cream cheese, what am I thinking? Cheese, your cheddar cheese and sour cream. Just to top it off, sprinkle a little bit of chopped onion on the top. And of course some jalapenos. You just spread them out. It's cool to spread them out. Wash your hands after you mess with jalapenos, because if not, you wipe your eyes, you're gonna have a problem. It's not a good one. All right, that's what I like to have, okay? Here's the topper. I'd like to take some of those scoop chips. I just use some regular little scoop chips. You can use the Frito scoops. You can do whatever you want. Put them on the plate like that. And then all of a sudden, you have yourself a chili cheese dip. That is fantastic. Watch how this works. Takes a scoop, get a little bit of onion, get a jalapeno on there. Check it. You will love it. Yeah, it's spicy because that's jalapeno, but that's what I like. I like a lot of spicy food. But if you even like more spicy food, you can add Tabasco or hot sauce, whatever you want to do. It's your chili. Plain Jane chili, or you can ramp it up. You can put the sour cream and cheese in there only and scoop it. You can add onion, whatever you want. Just make it the way you like it. But I just warn you, just make sure when you serve it plain and let other people make that decision, okay? Hey, there's a great chili, Mike Oski's Chili. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Just remember to subscribe to this channel. And know, again, if you're watching this on social media, go ahead and get to the channel, because that's where I have the link to the recipe. Take care. Thanks so much. You're doing a fantastic job. Serve this to your family. Serve this to your friends. You might be careful, because you can win a chili cook-off with something like this. It's really that good. Again, thanks for checking in. We'll see you next time. And again, in the ways of being Polish, one more bite of this. Na zdrowie.